Good morning, friends. This session is dedicated to class 12. The students of class 12 are preparing for their CBS exam that is to commence from last week of April. But there are certain lessons that we need to discuss in details for their benefit. So let us discuss. Though this lesson titled as Indigo is meant for class 12, but the content is not very confined to one class only. There are certain things that need to be discussed for everyone. Every Indian must know all about the freedom struggle, how India actually succeeded in making this country free from the British rule. So, the Champaran movement is one of them. See, the freedom movement could not have been successful without the participation of the ordinary people. Had it not been so, if the ordinary people of India would not have taken part in the freedom struggle, today India would not have been independent. The fact that before Gandhiji really entered into Champaran movement, the common people and the common masses were indifferent to the freedom movement. It was the advent of Gandhiji which brought this struggle for freedom even to the hearts of the millions. The Champaran episode was a turning point in the life of Gandhiji. Actually, before the advent of Gandhiji, before the entrance of Gandhiji into the Champaran movement, the freedom struggle was not the struggle of the masses. People, and we can say the masses, the Indian masses were different to the cause of freedom. They were not united on one point, but the advent of Gandhiji into the movement really brought the struggle for freedom even to the hearts of the millions. The Champaran episode was a turning point in the life of Gandhiji. It was a milestone in the long freedom movement. The civil disobedience emerged victorious for the first time in the modern India. The participation of the ordinary people continued in every movement. Not only men, but the women also took part in it. The boycott of the British goods and thousands of the women's participation in the movement made the Indians unite, and this led to the this civil disobedience movement. The the participation of the masses in the freedom movement unnerved the British. They started beginning to realize that now they were going to end the British rule in India. The second question that we are going to discuss is regarding the freedom. That freedom from fear is more important than legal justice for the poor. Freedom from fear is more important than legal justice for the poor. This statement is quite true in the present context also. Most of the people who are either poor or they are below the average, life living persons of our country, they have the greatest trouble that they fear of their survival. They have the fear of their survival. Most of the Indians, living below the poverty line, or most of the population that cannot really meet both the ends, they struggle hard, to keep their body and soul together. These people have the fear of their survival more than freedom. They are always having the fear of survival. In India, it was earlier also during the British time that justice was just given to only those people who had money and power. Even today, after so many years of independence, the common people of India, they cannot get justice because they have neither the money nor they have the access or the power to approach the qualified lawyers. The qualified lawyers fight the cases of those people who have either crores of rupees, and they have the capability to fight for a long time. So the poor people in India cannot sustain the and cannot wait for the legal justice. For them, fear of survival becomes more important than fear of justice. And in many cases, they don't get justice. Even during the British time, when Gandhiji visited Champaran, he saw the miserable condition of the Indian peasants. And the condition was that they were afraid to approach the good lawyers. The good lawyers in India charged them high money just for fighting their cases. So it was Gandhiji who approached those, lawyers in Muzaffarpur and requested them. Rather, he scolded them and asked them not to charge money from the poor sharecroppers. Indian sharecroppers were in fear of losing their, losing their share of land, or they were in fear of, not surviving in that conditions. But it was Gandhiji who really united them and made them believe that if they had no fear of the British landlords, they could survive. And that same thing happened when the Champaran episode took a turning point. Though the decision came that the sharecroppers would have to pay 25% of the compensation, but it was still a success because they were asking for 100% of the compensation. So, in that way, we can say that the Champaran movement came to be a turning point in this struggle for freedom, Indian struggle for freedom, and that is what I wanted to emphasize upon. Thank you. I am sure that these points would really make a sense when you start reading the titled Indigo, the story Indigo, and that will certainly help you. Go through many questions, answers. Thank you very much.